Now, time for a look through the press for you. Dipti's joining us. The clock, of course, really ticking for Ukraine to accept the peace plan put forward by Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's right, Stuart. The US president has given the Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky until this Thursday, November 27th, to respond to a proposal that would end 4 years of war. Now, this is the New Voice of Ukraine. It's an English-language Ukrainian daily website described as an independent website, and it reports that Ukraine and its allies have spent the last few days whittling away at the initial 28-point plan, which was really skewed in favor of Russia. A new version puts the focus back on Ukrainian sovereignty, and this website quotes a Financial Times report from a few days ago as saying that Zelensky has been advised to avoid rushing to discuss the peace plan with Donald Trump, and indeed to avoid making a decision quickly. Now, in any case, in the press today, at least in the Daily Telegraph, you have this article here, an opinion piece from Roland Oliphant, the chief foreign editor, who says that he really goes through the 7 key talking points of this amended proposal and concludes that for the first time, this is a, quote, acceptable end to the war that is in sight. While you have the Wall Street Journal today here, the editors here outlining what a good Ukraine peace looks like. And that is notably, it says, they say that the test of any peace agreement isn't ending fighting, but rather how long peace can last. And in this case of Ukraine, it means a, quote, sovereign Ukraine with the means to defend itself militarily.
Well, speaking of the military, but here in France now, discussions around military service are really dominating one front page at least.
Yeah, that's the Le Parisien today. You see it here. The question of military service pops up again, it says on its front page. Emmanuel Macron, this sort of comes into the fact that Emmanuel Macron is expected to announce on Thursday a plan to introduce a voluntary 10-month military service designed to train thousands of volunteer soldiers for the future. And in its pages today, Le Parisien's editor here in this editorial reminds us of a recent warning from the head of France's armed forces that as Russia gets more aggressive, conflict in Europe by the end of this decade could be a possibility. Now, Le Parisien in its editorial actually cites a survey that shows 6 out of 10 adolescents aged between the ages of 16 and 18 in France, those surveyed, say they're willing to risk their lives for France. So the editorial says, this military service really comes at perhaps an opportunistic time. In any case, in Le Figaro, as you see here, Emmanuel Macron has sort of been forced to water down the idea of military service in any because it really created a sort of panic, firmly replanting France in a sort of wartime scenario. So responding to that, Emmanuel Macron said that this does not mean that France will be sending young French soldiers to Ukraine or indeed sacrificing them.
Let's move to a story now that's divided the Italian press. Fascinating tale this. It's the removal of 3 children from parents who were raising them in the woods.
Yeah, that's right. Alternate lifestyle, if you like. The removal of these 3 children from their English-Australian parents has really made news around the world. Now, Nathan Trevelyan and his Australian wife, Catherine Birmingham, have raised their 3 children quite literally in the woods in the middle of Italy since 2021. They grew their own food, they made their own electricity, they extracted water from a well, the children were homeschooled, and all was seemingly going well until recently when all 5 members of the family had to be hospitalized due to poisoning from having ingested poisonous mushrooms. Now, authorities then led a search and concluded that the parents were raising their children in insalubrious conditions, and a court removed the children from their parents, and that has really sparked an intense debate in Italy around the acceptance of alternate lifestyles. The parents, this paper here says in this coverage, the parents were at worst naive about the whole situation, but it nonetheless defends them against these allegations that the dwelling was not up to standard. They're saying if that was the case, municipal authorities would never have let them live there in the first place. In any case, the case continues because a national demonstration is planned for December 6th in front of the Ministry of Family Affairs.
Wow, fascinating story. Finally, from Dipti, a great story here now. UK gene therapy to treat the rare condition of Hunter syndrome has yielded very promising results.
At least in the case of a young boy called Oliver. He's a 3-year-old boy, as the Times of London explains here. He has this genetic condition called Hunter syndrome, in which his body can't break down complex sugar molecules. The result is cognitive decline and a life expectancy of 10 to 20 years. He was one of 5 young patients who received this experimental gene therapy in a groundbreaking trial led by researchers at the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. And you'll see here in the Manchester Evening News today, they explain exactly what that trial entailed. Doctors removed Oliver's stem cells. They then gave instructions to those cells to produce the enzyme that was missing, and then they re-injected these modified cells into his body. And several months later, Stuart, he seems to have fully recovered, is doing well, giving hope of an affordable and effective treatment against this very rare genetic disorder.
Oh, what a great story. Best of luck to him, and hope, of course, that leads to more promising results elsewhere as well, particularly with the press review.